Hi everybody, hope you're all well. This is part 13 of 31 Days in August, and I'm not really a superstitious person, touch wood, but I could very well be persuaded into being superstitious about the number 13 after reading the comic that I randomly picked from my collection for today's video. Yeah, it just goes to show that not every single comic that I've got in my collection is a brilliant comic. It's from Tekno Comics, and you'd be excused for saying who. It's Gene Roddenberry's Lost Universe #1. Really nice cover. Really nice cover. Sorry, getting emotional here. If you've seen my previous videos, I usually give you a run through of what's happening in the comic. Sadly, I don't really feel that there's much of a story in this comic to give you. I'll give you a history of a brief history of Tekno Comics because it's not that long. They started in 1995, and then they ceased publication in 1997. So that goes to show how good they were, I suppose. From what I understand of the company and the comics that they were producing, they took ideas and concepts from well-known sci-fi and fantasy authors of the time, and and other genre authors, and then they took those ideas and concepts from them, and they got other people to write the stories for them. I've got a list here of the comics that actually were published by Tekno Comics in the 2 years that they were in circulation. You've obviously got Gene Roddenberry's Lost Universe. You've got Isaac Asimov with iBots, John Jakes with Malkan Empire, which was a mini-series, Leonard Nimoy's Primortals, excuse me. You've also got Neil Gaiman, who, from what I remember, his comics were probably the best things that Tekno Comics brought out. You've got Neil Gaiman's Lady Justice, Mr. Hero, the Pneumatic Man, which was a good series. It was like a steampunk style sort of comic that was brought out. You've also got Neil Gaiman's Technophage and Wheel of Worlds, and you've got Tad Williams's Mirror World, and Mickey Spillane's Mike Danger. Excuse me. Yeah. What can I say about this comic? That I'll give you a quick idea of what was in the comic anyway, because even though there's not much, from what I understand, reading the back bits from the author, the writer of this comic, where Star Trek's prime directive was, where the Federation's prime directive was that they weren't allowed to interfere with developing civilizations. They weren't allowed to give them technology. They could help, but they weren't allowed to interfere in the development of these civilizations. In Lost Universe, it's completely the opposite. That it seems that they give as much technology as these developing civilizations can handle, and just sees what happens. One of the main characters is Dr. Grange, and he's coming back from Earth to his home world, where he comes from. As he's getting into the that planet's solar system, he realizes that when they left, the planet had 2 satellites, natural satellites going around it. Now it's got 3. And also they're trying to get in contact with the base on the planet, but there's no answer. when they scan the planet, there's no sign of the base that was there, and it's Dr. Grange's family that's as well as other people that are living in the base or were living in the base. They land on the planet and they get attacked by what I can only describe as a mixture of, well, an amalgamation of Man-Bat from the Batman series and a Wookiee. I'll show you the picture of it. There you go, there it is. And with that, you can see that the actual artwork in it as well as the writing in this comic being subpar, the actual artwork in it is pretty bad as well. That's a picture of the two main characters there. You know, they fight off these Wookiee bats, and they come across some humans on the planet who who they don't recognise, and these humans don't recognise them either. These group of humans turns around to Dr. Grange and his companion and say, "Get off the planet." And then within a few minutes, they turn around to him and say, "Actually, no, we'll take your spaceship. You get off the planet. You stay on the planet." I'm sorry. And that's the end of it. That's the end of the story. I understand in the first issue is always the hardest issue to write, because you've got to grab people's attention. You have to get people to want to empathise with the main characters and to understand what's going on as quickly as possible so you can get into the action of the comic. I think that Tekno Comics were more interested in trying to sell comics by sticking a well-known author's name on the front cover, more than actually giving you a decent story either written by that author or a writer that was capable of writing a story to the standards of the name on the front cover. I'm really loath to call this Gene Roddenberry's Lost Universe, because it really doesn't do Roddenberry's other work any justice. I think it should actually be just called Lost Universe, and possibly that's the best thing for it, is to be lost. Yeah, there's nothing else really I can think of to say about this comic, other than if you do see it and it's cheap, leave it where it is. Yeah. Like I said, I remember reading Neil Gaiman's Mr. Hero, and I thought that was really good. But I believe Neil Gaiman actually wrote that himself. He didn't. There wasn't another writer come in and sort of like muck it up for him, so to speak. As for the rest of the comics that come out of Tekno Comics, I vaguely remember Leonard Nimoy's Prime Mortals and not being particularly phased by that. And I don't remember Isaac Asimov's iBots. I think I vaguely remember seeing a couple of covers of it, but after reading Lost Universe, I think I just didn't bother to pick anything else up from Tekno Comics other than the Neil Gaiman one, which probably explains why the company only went for 2 years. So there you go. That just goes to show that not every single comic I have in my collection is an absolutely fantastic, amazing comic that everybody should be reading. You're probably wondering why it's actually in my collection, and I have to say I am loath to get rid of comics. You've probably heard me go on about the Great Purge of 94, 93, 94. Ever since then, from getting rid of some amazing comics that I had then, and only just now getting back some of the, clawing back some of the comics that I used to have that I want to get back again. I am loath to getting rid of comics, even if they're really bad, which just goes to show how bad a comic has to be, in my opinion, for me to rip it up. Yeah. So yeah, there you go. Not everyone's a win. Not every comic's a winner, but you can't win them all. Yeah. So yeah, there you go. That's today's video. I've noticed when I've been looking at all the statistics and that YouTube give you, that I've got about 170 subscribers now. I'm coming up to my 100th video, which will be in somewhere in the middle of this 31 days in August thing that I'm doing. I'm getting close to my 10,000th video or channel view, and as well as that, in September it's my first anniversary for doing videos on YouTube. So I was just thinking, wouldn't it be fantastic if I could get my 100th video, my 200th subscriber, my 10,000th channel view, and my first year anniversary all within this these next few weeks. So I'm saying to you now, if you are watching this for the first time and you're not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. If you are subscribed to my channel, or you're going to subscribe to my channel, I need you to give me two numbers, yeah, one between 1 and 51 and one between 1 and 300, and that will be for Friday, which will go for my random viewer's choice lucky dip thing, whatever you want to call it, which is where I go into here and I pick out a completely random comic that you, the viewer, have picked for me. And yeah, and just if you haven't subscribed yet, or if you know somebody who likes comics and wouldn't mind seeing some weird Englishman prattle on about comics on YouTube, get them to subscribe, because the more the merrier as far as I'm concerned, and the more I can get to 200 subscribers, fantastic. So yeah, thank you for watching. Hope yeah, hope that was enlightening for you for this comic. And yeah, see you again tomorrow for another, hopefully much better comic than that one. Take care, and ta-ta for now.